Hello, I'm Catherine Webster. I'm the Simpson County Extension Agent for 4-H Youth Development. I work for the University of Kentucky College of Agriculture, Food and Environment Cooperative Extension Service. And today I want to talk to you about our 4-H Cloverbuds. Our Cloverbuds are ages 5 to 8. Sometimes they're younger siblings of our 4-H age members. Sometimes they're just anxious youth that haven't quite hit age 9 to be involved in 4-H, but they would like to be. We have a very active group of Cloverbuds here in Simpson County. We have a Cloverbud Club that meets once a month in the evenings at the Extension office. And our Cloverbuds do a different project in 4-H each month. They don't usually do projects that carry over month after month because research shows that their attention span's just not quite there yet to be able to have those continuing projects. So our club leaders are great about focusing on a different area of 4-H each month and doing an activity with them. And so today we are going to do 3 different, craft projects that would be great for our Cloverbud age members, and really any age members, young or old, could participate in this. However, I tried to pick some things that are great for our 5 to 8 year olds. And so the first project that we're going to make is a wreath out of socks. You can see I've made this one out of snowman. I've decorated with snowman today, trying to go with a snow theme for this. But what you need is a 9-inch green wreath foam, and I've already slit that in half at the seams. You need a pair of knee socks, and I've already cut the toes off of those. You just want to snip the toes off at the end. Some ribbon for us to make a bow, and a little piece of duct tape. And we are going to jump in here and get started. Again, this is just a great activity that our youth can do from home. And we are going to scrunch our knee sock up, and we're going to slide that on one side of the wreath. And this is a project that I was able to pick up everything at Dollar Tree. So I'm making this project for just a little over $2 when you add the ribbon in. We're going to take our other knee sock, and we're going to go at it upside down. We're going to slide it on the other side. And you wouldn't have to just do this for the holidays. I have some holiday themed socks here, but you could also do this for spring. This one will be great for all winter because it's made of snowmen. So you've got lots of choices. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tuck that cut seam of the sock inside of the cuff because it helps to hide it. And then I'm going to take this piece of duct tape and I'm going to tape my wreath back together just so it's smooth at the top. All right. And then we're simply going to take the other raw edge of this sock that I created, and we're going to tuck it under the cuff. And you can see that we have our sock wreath. Now, if you wanted to, I don't have it with me today, you could take a little bit of glue and you could put it in here. But you may not want to do that because you want to maybe be able to change out your wreath with the seasons. But if your socks aren't quite long enough and you have a hard time getting them to stick, then you could put a little bit of tape in there to hold that together. So we've got our sock wreath, and we're going to top that off with a bow. Now, I'll warn you, I'm not the best at making bows, but I'm going to try, and I'm going to show you a simple way. So I've got 2 pieces of ribbon here, and they are the same length, and I'm going to lay those out, and I'm going to fold one side over, and then I'm going to fold the other side over. Okay, and then I'm simply going to pinch those in the middle. And that is all I'm doing to make a simple wreath for this bow. Both of these ribbons also came from the Dollar Tree, and I was able to cut just a little bit off each spool, so you could definitely make several wreaths out of this. And then I'm going to take an extra piece of ribbon, and I'm just going to tie that off so my bow holds. You could also do a purchased bow. You wouldn't have to do a bow. I've just found it kind of helps to, it'll hide that seam there. So here we've got our bow, and we are simply, let's see, flip it up. We're going to put this on our wreath at the top, and we are going to use these long strips to attach it. I'm going to just knot that on. This is not necessarily the easiest ribbon to work with. Get it kind of under there. This can also help hold your socks together. I'm going to double knot that. Uh-oh. And it looks like it came undone at the bottom, which again is no big deal. This would be, looks like for this pair of socks, they're a little shorter. So you'd simply just want to take a little bit of maybe hot glue, put down in there. But I pushed that back together. I've added my bow. I'm going to use this, my extra. I'm going to make one more knot, and then it will fit perfect on a wreath hanger. And again, just in a matter of minutes, we have made a simple, cute, went with a holiday theme for this one, using a foam wreath, some holiday socks, a little bit of ribbon, and we have a wreath. Great project, really quick, really simple. It would make a great gift. For any of our 4-H members that wanted to make this and maybe give it to a teacher, a grandparent, or a family member. You know, maybe it's something that parents will let you pick up the supplies, and I'm actually going to go ahead and trim those and make those the same length. Let you pick up the supplies, and then it's something that you could, you know, maybe make and give to even your parents or siblings. So anyway, this is our sock wreath. And then you can see my snowman one. So that's our first activity that's really inexpensive and a great thing that our Cloverbud age members can do from home. The next activity that I want to show you all how to make is a Costa Rica terrarium. So in 4-H, especially in Kentucky, we do a great job trying to teach youth about other cultures. And Simpson County has been very fortunate that over the years there's a program called LABO. LABO is similar to 4-H in Japan. And so in July and August of every year, there's usually around 20 early high school, middle school age teenagers that will come to Kentucky, and they will stay 4 weeks with 4-H host families. We've hosted those youth before in Simpson County. We've also hosted the chaperone in Simpson County. Great opportunity. Lifelong friendships are made to where our 4-H members get to learn about another culture. And of course it goes the same. The Japanese students that come here for a month, they get to learn about Kentucky and Kentucky 4-H. So just lots of opportunities. There's a 4-H trip in the works to take a group of Kentucky 4-Hers to Peru next year. And so anyway, we've got a lot of activities and a lot of curriculum out there where youth can do activities and they learn about another culture. And so one of those activities is to make a terrarium. And you can see I've made my terrarium. This is actually also a recycled project because we are using an empty 2-liter soft drink bottle to make this. So for this activity, we are going to need an empty 2-liter bottle, and I've already emptied it and I have cut it in half to save time. Actually, I would say it's about 2/3 of it at the bottom and 1/3 of it at the top, and then I've trimmed it a little bit. So we need that. We need some aquarium rocks or some kind of gravel. We need 3 cups of soil, which I've already measured out. That's potting soil. We're also going to use a little bit of sand and put that between the rocks and the soil just to help with the filtering of the water. I've got some water. We're going to spritz it. It's a terrarium. We're putting a succulent plant in it. Those do not require much water. You will maybe water this once a week. And again, it's a recycled project. It's an easy project. Our Cloverbuds may need a little bit of help cutting their 2-liter bottle, but other than that, they can put this together very easily from home. I have a 7-year-old, and she made hers all by herself. Maybe Big Sister helped her cut the bottle the other night, but that was it. And she has it in her bedroom by her bed. And then we have our succulent. And actually, they really multiply, and so we're only going to be using a part of this. So the first thing that we want to do to make our Costa Rica terrarium is that we are going, and again, I've already cut the 2-liter and I've washed it out, the bottle. We're going to open our bag of aquarium gravel. We're going to put that in the bottom. I opted for a Grinch green since we're doing these activities around the holidays. And again, I picked that aquarium gravel up at the Dollar Tree, so it cost me $1. So again, a very inexpensive project. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put just a little bit of sand down in there. Again, just kind of acts as a barrier or a filter between our soil and our rocks. Doesn't take much. And then we are going to add our soil. and I've already measured this out. So for one 2-liter bottle, it took 1 bag of the aquarium gravel. I think if I read that right, it was a 3/4 of a pound. So if you want to get like a bigger bag and make several, you could. Just need to make sure that you've got a couple inches of gravel there at the bottom with a thin layer of sand, and then we're going to put our potting soil in. And I may not put quite all of it in case I want to come back and add a little. All right. So we got that, and we're going to make a hole right there in the center for our plant. And I'm going to hold this over the trash can. Again, these things really multiply. I actually have a lot of plants here that we could do several terrariums out of this. But I'm going to get the big one out. That's what I'm going to do. Succulents are very hardy. They don't need a lot of water. They're hard to kill, easy to take care of. All right, so I've pulled our one out. So the rest of that over here. And I'm going to put this down into, there's a few little dead leaves down in there. Put that down in my terrarium. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more soil around just to make sure it's good and covered. And we are almost done. Again, great simple little project. And I've learned our younger members, they love to have the terrarium and the plants in their bedroom just because it's something that they did and they were able to make. And so it makes them, you know, even that much more proud and want to be able to take care of it. This project involves some white yarn, so I'm going to try to go ahead and clean up my surface a little bit. But here's our terrarium, and I've put water in a spray bottle. This is how we're going to water it because, again, you don't want these, they don't need a lot of water. And you don't want mud. You do not want to make mud out of this. So I have spritzed this really good because my soil was dry. All right, that's plenty. And then we're going to take the top of the bottle and we are just going to slide it over it. And here's what you can do. If it doesn't want to fit, put a couple slits in the side of it to help it fit back over it. Well, give me a little trouble. There we go. And we have our Costa Rica terrarium. You know, Costa Rica, 25% of the country is rainforest. And so we do an activity and we call it a Costa Rica terrarium just because it kind of reminds us of the environment there. And we do have publications on both of these activities that we've just done, both the sock wreaths and the Costa Rica terrarium. And we will put those at the Simpson County Extension Office at the back door. We have some drop boxes. And so we are going to put the instructions for both of these projects in those boxes. So if we are closed and you want to pick those up, you'll be able to. And you can also find those on our a link to those on our website or on our Facebook page. But if you want to pick those up and learn more about Costa Rica while you're home over the holidays, or you want those instructions, those step-by-step instructions, you'll be able to get those off the Extension Office back door. You can see my sample here. I put a bow on it because I've had some extra ribbon. I don't have any extra in here that we're going to do with this one. But again, I think you get the gist. And I will say on these, I picked up these succulents from a local greenhouse that had them growing all year. The one that I have and the one I'd already made, I picked that up at Lowe's and it was on clearance for $1. So again, an extremely inexpensive project that our Cloverbuds can do from home, and even give those as a gift if they wanted to, but also a great way to recycle a little bit and reuse that plastic bottle maybe from your holiday celebrations. All right, so I'm gonna move all this out of the way, move our terrariums over, and we are gonna do one more project. And I'll have to say, this is maybe one of the most fun. We are gonna make some snowballs. And you can see that I've got a basket here. This was actually a basket that was my great-grandmother's. And so I'm gonna leave it full of snowballs during the holidays. So when there's kids in our house, they can have a snowball fight. And so I'm gonna show our Cloverbuds today how to make snowballs. So anyway, I've got a basket of several I've already made. It's basically a big white pom-pom. So I'm gonna put those back there. We need some white yarn. I picked this up at Wal-Mart. You could pick it up any craft store. And again, it's just basic white acrylic yarn. We're going to want some good sewing scissors. I will say that. You're going to want some sewing scissors. You're also going to want a pair of scissors that you can cut cardboard with. We're done with our tape, so I'll get that out of the way. You want to get something that you can make a circle out of, between a 3 and a 3.5 inch circle. So I took this lid off of a jar here at the extension office. Got a piece of real thin cardboard. This actually is from a gift box. Heavy cardboard, like from a shipping box, it's too much. You need something thin, even like maybe a manila folder. So you want this to make 2 circles out of. Set that there. And then we need a quarter, just again for tracing, and I've got a pencil. All right, so I've already made 1 circle on here, kind of like a donut. I'm gonna trace, and I'm gonna make a second one. And again, what we're doing is we're making a pattern to be able to make our snowballs. All right, that's all we're using that lid for, and we're done with it. And we're gonna put the quarter in the very center, and we are gonna trace around that until you basically have 2 donuts. And then you want to cut those out. And I've already got some examples we're going to use, but I wanted you to be able to see what I was making to understand how easy and how fun of a project this is. So we're just going to cut that out. So we've got one. We're not even going to use this one because I've already got mine made. And then we're going to cut in, and we're going to cut that inner circle out. And this is just I don't know, it's a fun project. You don't have to do these in white, but I picked white because I want to make snowballs. All right, so I've cut the center out. We don't need that. And then I've got my donut, I guess you could say. I want it to look like this. And so kind of a keyhole is really what you want it to look like. So we're going to just cut another little chunk out. You can see the keyhole there. You could even say it kind of looks like Pac-Man. So this is what we're wanting. So again, you want to make 2 of these. So we're going to set that aside because I've already made 2. All right, so we need 2 of these. All right, and then we are actually done with our crafting scissors. We're going to take our white yarn. Now this is the fun part. And we need about 35 yards. So here's how we're going to teach this for our young ones. And this is how I've been measuring it. Let's get it over here. So we're going to start at our nose and we're going to go this way. That is approximately a yard, and we do not have to be exact. So, but this is a great activity for our 5 to 8 year olds and parents. Of course, you can help. Older kids can do this. They can have an indoor snowball fight, but here's how we're going to measure it. So that would be 1 yard, and I'm going to leave that sitting on the table because I don't want to lose that. All right, and then we're just going to keep going. 2, 3, 4. 34, 35. All right. Make sure you hang on to your ends. You're going to need those. So we're going to cut that. And then we also need an extra piece of white yarn. Doesn't matter how long, about 12 inches, and I've already cut that. All right, so we're done with our yarn. I've already cut that. Let's just set this aside. We're already done with all of that. All right, so you're going to take your 2 cardboard pieces, and you're going to take your 2 ends of yarn. So basically, you want your yarn doubled up the whole time. And you're going to just hold it in place. Now, our 5 to 8 year olds, you may need a little help from mom and dad or someone older just to kind of help you get the coordination going. All right, but you are going to hold that in place, and you are simply going to start wrapping your yarn around your 2 pieces of cardboard. You want this loose. Do not pull this tight. I made that mistake and I had to redo it, and you'll see in a few minutes why we want it loose. But just simply wrap this all the way around until you've got all of your yarn wrapped. All right, so as you can see, We've got all of our yarn wrapped around our 2 pieces of cardboard. I've left each end open, and I have a tail hanging here. Just leave it hanging. We're eventually going to cut it off, unless you want for some reason to make a pom-pom that you're able to hang. But again, our objective is that we're making snowballs, so we can have a snowball fight this winter. I'll just say my inspiration for this project was my great niece Henley. We were together and we had pictures made with Santa, and the farm that we did that at had a big basket out and a sign that said, "You're never too old for a snowball fight." And she's 3, and we had so much fun throwing snowballs at each other. And so she was my inspiration to learn how to make my own snowballs. I did find them where I could purchase them online, but they were really expensive. I think I was going to be able to get maybe like 30 snowballs for $40 or something like that. And it was just crazy high. And so I bought the super size thing of a skein of yarn at Walmart. I think it was about $6. I also have ones that are half this size for $3, and that is your only expense with this project. And so before I see Henley for the holidays, I'm going to have a basket full of snowballs. So again, we've got this yarn wrapped. We want to keep these ends open. Now this is where it may take a little help from Mom and Dad, because we're going to cut. We're going to kind of spread our 2 pieces of cardboard, because we want to be able to cut our yarn. And here's what you need to know. As you start cutting, you're going to have loose pieces of yarn, just like you see in the snowball. You do not want to let those fall off the open ends. So it just takes a little bit of kind of hand-eye coordination to hold those on there. But this is why you want your yarn wrapped loose. If it's really tight, you're going to have a hard time, and you can see it's already wanting to start falling. I've just got to hold it on. But get those scissors in there and cut all the loops of yarn. Try not to cut your cardboard, but again, the looser you've wrapped this, the easier it's going to be. I'm just going to snip it. I'm going to turn this upright so all of my yarn stays on, and we can even go from the other side. And again, all I did was I worked my scissors and I got all that yarn cut in half. Okay, now we're going to take this extra piece and we're going to wrap it, sandwich it inside of your cardboard. And once you get this around, then makes it pretty easy. So bring that piece all the way in, okay, to where it's around your cut pieces of yarn, and let's get everything out of the way. You want to tie this tight, and it looks like I dropped it. So I'm going to just tie my 2 pieces as tight as I can get them. Our Cloverbuds, you may need somebody to put a finger in there, or you put your finger in there and let Mom and Dad, but just tie it as tight as you can. This way your yarn pieces won't come out of your snowball. I'm gonna do that about 3 times. All right, and then I'm simply gonna pull my cardboard out. All right, and we have a snowball. Now we need to trim it a little bit. If you want to keep this loop to hang by, you can. That is nothing though that I need, so I'm gonna cut those long pieces off. Now this is the point where you really wanna work over a trash can, just because it makes a little bit of a mess. You're gonna take your 2 cardboard cutouts, I call them the Pac-Mans, and you're gonna put them on the top and bottom. Now, it doesn't matter what you make of the top and bottom, because we're going to do this twice, but we're going to trim our snowball into a nice round shape. Okay, so it's almost like a sandwich cookie. All right, so got your cardboard on the top and on the bottom, and I'm holding over a trash can, and I'm simply going to start trimming all those loose pieces. You're at the point now where you just want to make it even. And you can see how quick this is. So, you know, you can make a dozen snowballs easy. And maybe you just want some fun pom-poms for something. You know, you could do those in a different color yarn. All right, so I've trimmed all the way around it. Now, this is one of those things, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I love crafts that don't have to be perfect. All right, so then we're going to take these off and we're going to put them on the other side. And we're going to mash it, kind of shake it and mash it one more time. And we're going to trim. We're going to go all the way around it. Now, I will say the key to cutting your yarn and trimming your yarn is to have a sharp pair of scissors. You probably won't be able to use the kids' scissors for this, so that's one thing you may need some help from Mom and Dad on for some of our younger that are making this. I have a 13-year-old. She loves these. So again, this is definitely a project that any age could do. So we're going to take off our cardboard, and then you can see I've got just a little bit left that needs trimming, not much. So I'm just going to kind of cut off all those pieces till it's even like I want it. And I think that we about have it. Again, I used about a 3.5-inch lid to make my circles to do this. And we have our snowball, so we can have a snowball fight this winter. Again, I love this activity. I think it's so much fun. So now I've made several. I've got a basket of snowballs, so when family comes over, even the big kids, my kids are spread out in age, and I can promise you when they see this basket of snowballs that they can safely throw at each other inside, they will be doing it. So again, a great project for our Cloverbuds. So I hope you've enjoyed our crafts. These are great for our 5 to 8-year-old 4-H members. You know, you can like the Simpson County Extension Service Facebook page. We have Simpson County Extension Service YouTube channel to follow all of the great projects that we're putting out there this year. After the first of the year, you can tune into our Facebook page, contact the Extension office to find out more information on our Cloverbud program and what we offer the 5 to 8-year-olds in Simpson County. Or, you know, not all counties have Cloverbuds, but a lot of them do, so you can contact your Extension office for more information. But have fun and have a snowball fight this winter. Thank you.